Good morning, my children, and welcome to your English class, the class of the teacher Jacob. So, for today, my children, we're going to make an exercise that is based on the review of the alphabet. Remember, the alphabet in Spanish, el abecedario. Now, it is very important that we work constantly with the alphabet because remember, if we don't know the letters, we of course cannot write and of course we can't read. So that's why it's very important to see once again the alphabet, and of course it's also part of this review. Now, for this, we're going to see letter by letter. First of all, we're going to see the alphabet in order, and then I will explain the second activity. Recuerden, chicos, que es muy importante nuestro repaso del abecedario. Aunque ya no lo veamos tan frecuente en Kinder 3, ya no lo veamos seguido, es muy importante seguir trabajando con él. Porque, pues, sin el abecedario, sin que nosotros reconozcamos las letras, pues de esa forma no vamos a poder seguir escribiendo, no vamos a poder escribir, ni mucho menos vamos a poder seguir leyendo, no vamos a poder leer. Por eso es muy importante seguir trabajando con las letras, el reconocerlas, el escribirlas, ¿ok? Ahora, primero vamos a hacer un repaso completo de todas las letras, las vamos a decir, y al final les voy a explicar la segunda actividad. Now, for this, remember, the teacher Jacob is going to say the first letter and you will have to say it with all of your energy. You're going to repeat after me. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Okay, very good. Now remember, the final letter of the alphabet is pronounced Z, like the sound of the flies when they are flying, Z, como el sonido de las moscas cuando están volando, Z. Okay, so you don't get confused with the letter C, which is right here. C, Z. Okay, very good. Now, for this next activity, my children, we're going to write a word that begins with the first letter that is right here. Para la siguiente actividad, vamos a escribir una palabra vamos a escribir una palabra que empiece con la primera letra de la que estamos hablando, ¿ok? Vamos a escribir una palabra with the letter A, with the letter B, with the letter C. So, for this, my children, if you want to work along with the teacher, si ustedes quieren trabajar junto con el teacher, you have 5 seconds to grab your printed activity of today and your pencil case. Si ustedes quieren trabajar con el teacher Jacob en este momento, tienen 5 segundos para ir por su actividad impresa y por su estuchera. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, once you have your printed page and your pencil, let's begin. The first word that we're going to write begins with the letter A. So, an object that you remember, my children, that begins with the letter A. Okay. What about airplane? Do you remember what is an airplane? Excellent, very good. So let's use that one. Airplane, of course, it's a word that begins with capital A. Airplane. Okay, let's continue with the capital B. For the capital B, we saw several objects, okay? Now, one that I remember the most was boot. Do you remember what is a boot? Remember, the boot is part of the family of the shoes. Recuerden que boot es parte de la familia de los zapatos. La bota. For example, Woody from Toy Story, he wears boots. Woody de Toy Story, él utiliza botas, no shoes. So, boot begins with capital B. Let's continue. Capital C. So, for capital C, we had the clown. Now, remember the clown? It's the person that wears makeup, has a red nose, and a funny hat. And of course, color, hair color, okay? Cabello de color, utiliza un gorrito, la nariz, utiliza maquillaje, clown. Capital C, L-O-W-N, clown. Let's continue with the capital D. For the capital D, we had the dragon. Remember the dragon, it's a big monster that breathes fire from the mouth. Okay? So, dragon. Next to, with capital E, we had several animals. For example, the elephant. But for this, let's use eagle. Okay? Or do you want to use elephant? Okay, let's write elephant. Remember the eagle in Spanish, águila. But let's write elephant. Capital E, L, E, B, H, A, N, and T. Elephant. Now remember, the teacher Jacob is writing this a little bit faster, but don't worry because this is a video, you can pause it at any time. Recuerden chicos que ahorita el teacher Jacob lo está escribiendo de una manera rápida, pero pues no se preocupen, como es un video, ustedes pueden poner pausa en el momento que ustedes quieran. Let's continue. Capital F. For capital F, we saw objects like the fish, for example. We also saw the farm. Do you remember what is a farm? Granja. But let's use fish. Capital F, I, S, and H. Now, for capital G, once again, we saw several objects. For example, grandmother, girl, okay? Now, for this, let's use girl. Now remember, girl, it's, in Spanish, we know it as niña. Girl. For capital H, we had several objects, okay? For example, hot dog, hammer, okay? For this, we are going to use hammer. Now, remember, hammer, it's an object that we use to nail something on the wall, okay? In Spanish, hammer, martillo. Or for example, there is a very popular superhero called Thor that uses a hammer as the weapon. Recuerden que hay un personaje muy popular, un superhéroe que se llama Thor, que utiliza pues un martillo como su como un arma, Okay, so hammer.